Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Erica, and today I have a collab with the Real Prince Club. They suggested that we do a collab like a couple of days ago, so I did not have long at all to prepare for this collab, but I went ahead and I did it anyway because I love a good challenge. Basically said that it was going to be furniture and props. I didn't really know what kind of furniture I wanted to make, and I kind of don't like my furniture to be I like my furniture to be a little bit nicer, and it takes me a little bit while to make a little bit nicer furniture, and I really didn't need any more furniture, so I went with the laundry room. It's not 100% yet because I do want to add more stuff to it later, like some artwork and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I made it. So let's get started. So I am starting off with a Creatable World Deluxe box packaging. I'm going to be using a lot of packaging from this box to make this laundry room, and I am taking this vintage old wallpaper stuff, and it's not very sticky, so I added some tacky glue and I'm scraping it and weighing it down. So what I am using for my washer and dryer, I am using two of these Sweet and Low boxes. Yeah, it's the off-brand. I don't know the size, but I know it's perfect size for Barbie. The reason why I don't know the size is because, again, I don't have a ruler. I don't know where it's at. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I went ahead and I had measured a spool of ribbon for my circle. This is for my door, and then I took another circle, and I made another circle, and I used my pill bottle for that, the lid, and then I just cut it out. And since it's pink and my white paper is not going to give me really good coverage because it's gonna like show through when I add the glue. So what I am going to do is I am just going to recycle my Creatable World packaging. And I'm doing it on this side. I marked my lines on this side with the Sharpie, and I'm not worried about this part because this part's going to get cut off. But I just did this, the sides, the back, the sides. I'm not going to worry about the actual back because it's going to be glued into the wall, so it doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to do is I am just going to find my scissors, and I'm going to cut this out. Try as getting as even as possible. I'd rather cut off more than less. So just go ahead and do that. Move this out of my way. And there's like a little lip right here, and that's super annoying, but just gonna peel that off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some kind of tool, preferably a dotting tool, because it's going to help me score my edges. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just taking my dotting tool and I'm scoring the edges. This would be so much easier if you had a ruler, but I don't. I should have invested in one, but I forgot. Because I have a whole bunch, I just don't know what they are. But anyways, I'm just going to do this, and it's going to make folding it a lot easier. See? It's a lot easier to fold now. And just going to do that. Crease the edges. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to see if it fits, which I definitely believe it will. It is a little bit higher up, so I will have to take my marker and trim off a little bit of the excess once I outline it. But other than that, it's a good fit. But now I need to go ahead and trace the circle again and cut it out, and then I will just trace a big circle out and cut it out. So that's basically the gist of it. Anyways, so I have my two doors. Well, technically it's one door because this is going to stack like this. And, like, I have to figure out, like, Okay, that's good enough, I guess. Anyways, I have cut a piece of plastic from the same packaging of Creatable Worlds. Gonna round off my edges. Okay. And then I'm gonna use some tacky glue. I did sand it down a little bit. So now I'm just going to, before I glue this onto the actual box, I'm going to go ahead and glue in my hinge. Just so it will be extra secure when I glue down. Trying to make sure that it's a good fit. Okay, so go ahead and okay, so I went ahead, since it was so flimsy, I took that ribbon spool and I just tacky glued it to the door, and now it closes nicely and it stays shut. It is still very flimsy, but I mean, like, I can totally fix up like this area with some extra paper, or because I'm not going to cover it with paper now because I decided not to. I decided that I'm just going to paint it. Okay, so I did the doors on the opposite side. This one opens on this side. This one opens on this side, and I went ahead and I tacky glued them together. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to paint, but before I do that, I went ahead and I cut out a piece that fits on top of here, and I added some tacky glue and some cardstock. It's like a beigey color. Can't really tell because the lighting sucks in here, but I went ahead and I used clips to hold it down because, you know, cardstock and tacky glue, they need some extra support. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start painting it white. You can pay. So I went ahead and I used some silver paint to add some details around it. I don't know if it's going to turn out any good or not because I didn't actually use my folk art paint. I ended up using this one, which is fabric paint that I recently got. It's the Tulip brand. I've never used this before, so I mean, it's for fabric, and this is not fabric, so I don't know how good it's going to be, but I am going to go ahead and add some poly acrylic because I actually did use this. I did try this out recently today, and I was like, okay, so I'm going to use this to seal in my paint. And how I got this color was I took the Apple Barrel Burnt Umber and I went over it with a dark layer, and then while it was still a little bit damp, I went over it and dry brushed it with some Territorial Beige, and then I ended up dusting on some of this Antique Parchment by also Apple Barrel. I love Apple Barrel. So I went ahead and turned my hot glue gun on, and I had glued down this part, which is the tabletop of it, the counterpart. The reason why I use the hot glue gun is just because I haven't got time to wait for the tacky glue to dry or anything. I'll probably touch this up later, but for the doorknobs, I mean, like, yeah, that's pretty dangerous, but it's fine. It's just temporary, of course, and it's completely not even either, but it's all good. It's okay. It's for, it was just those little, it was these. My words are getting lost. Okay, it was these. They're like little bitty round head pins. I used the silver one. So I went ahead and I glued on some buttons. This is a blue one in grays. It's not a very good imitation of a washer and dryer, but it'll do. So I'm just going to cover it up with some puff paint. If I can squeeze any out, like I haven't used it in a while. So if not, I could glue on some sticky gems. It's not squeezing. One sec. Okay, you guys, onto some props. I have a K-cup. I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the rest of the foil as best as I possibly can. And what I'm going to be doing with this is turning it into some type of basket. Not necessarily a laundry basket, but it might be. So that is what I'm going to do once I get it all peeled off, because I want it to look kind of clean. So I'm going to see if I can use my sandpaper on this. Oh, don't you just love that sound? Okay. It's not coming off. That's okay. Anyways, I'm just going to take my hot glue gun, and I am just going to take this, which this is like the shelf lining thing, and I am just going to hot glue it all the way around this. But before I do, I kind of want to make some handles. So I'm going to take my... I didn't take a Sharpie, but I don't know where it went to. That's typical. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little handle by cutting it like that. So, got it on this side, so I want it like... Okay. Now I'm just going to take my scissors, jam it in there, cut out the half shape for the handle. These K-cups come in handy, because if you didn't want to turn this into a basket, you could use this part as a plate. Super handy. There's so many things that you could do with these K-cups. Too bad coffee season's over for me, because I definitely could do a lot with some K-cups. Okay, so there we go. Now we got the handles. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue, clean that off. And I'm just going to go ahead and add it here first. And I'm trying to... And then I'm going to go back over those little lines that I had cut, and then I can just trim it out and everything. But that's basically all you're going to do is just glue, and then you can cut out the little holes. And I cut the ends of the bottom, and I just glued it and folded it over. Now I'm just going to glue this to this right there, and this way I can have a clean bottom. Like so. And then it gets stuck to the ground. Okay, so now that that's going to dry, there is our basket. Okay, I wanted some lace on my basket, so I went ahead and I hot glued some on. You can still use the handle, it's still like accessible, so there's that. And then I kind of cheated. I had these like fake flowers that Memo had given me that she didn't want, and I went ahead and I took apart the stem, and it had these, and I just cut off a few of them. See, I'm gonna save these for like a later project, but I'm just taking a Dollar Tree little glass jar, and it comes with like a little cork. I don't know where the cork is, but I'm just taking 3 of these and I'm shoving it in the jar, and voila, you got like a little plant. You can glue it in if you want to. Like this little bitty glass jar, you can get these at Dollar Tree too. Get the hot glue off my fingers. Ow. Okay, and I made all this stuff out of polymer clay, so I made the little game pods. Well, knocked off game pods. Okay, this is my little lid for like my native soap. I put some liquid clay in there. Here's my little bitty soap thing. I made these out of polymer clay. So, and here's my little iron that I made out of a paper clip in polymer clay. It's really funky looking. But I'm gonna put all my little game pods in here. And how I made these was I just twisted some green and blue and white together. To get them to look like that. That one's too big. That's what she said. There we go. And one more because this one's not going to fit. Now I'm just going to put the cork on top, and then I'm going to show you what everything looks like. So this is what everything is looking like. We got the washer and dryer that opens, and we got another little basket that I had previously made. It's the same way that I made this one, except for I had cut this one down and this one doesn't have handles. But here's the little laundry basket that I made a while ago. And we have the little plant that I set up. We got the iron, we got the little liquid, and we got the detergent, and we got some little pods and stuff. So I mean, like, all in all, it's pretty cute. Later on, I would like to add, like, maybe some artwork, especially to cover up the freaking sweaty walls. But I mean, like, it turned out really good for being a creatable box. I like that I didn't have to, like, do anything to the sides because they're already finished. So I'm going to go ahead and add some clothes in here so we can give it the illusion that it actually is a washer and dryer. Don't forget to check the description box down below to check out the Real Prince Club's collab video and their channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!